Hello there, how's it going? Recently I've finished up playing Cuphead and finished playing the DLC for the first time on the channel, so to kind of celebrate the end of what has ended up being the biggest series I've done on the channel so far, I wanted to get into a little bit of a tier list. That, and quite frankly, I love that game and I'm not ready to say goodbye, so let's just hop into it. Starting with Goopy Legrand, the first boss of the game, really. I honestly love this boss. Honestly, I rate it pretty highly. I don't know if I'd be willing to go up to an S tier. I definitely think maybe the first stage is kind of the weakest, but the whole stage makes very good use of all of the mechanics and all the controls of the game. So I think it's like the perfect like tutorial boss. Maybe the first stage would go in B, and we can kind of readjust these later. I feel like its last two stages are a little bit more interesting. We'll put them in A. I feel like that could change later. Maybe the first stage goes up with the rest, but we'll see when we get there. Let's move on to the Root Pack. I think this is a great boss all around. I don't think it's as good as Goopy. I would say it's like a step under Goopy, quite frankly. Yeah, the name is ridiculous. As far as the potato goes, I think the potato is kind of the weakest stage. I don't know. I'm not as big on the potato boss. I would say it's like a C. It's not bad. It's not my favorite thing. I can see it going up to B as well. Onion San's interesting because it's the first thing that really adds a little bit of a dilemma to it, because you don't have to fight the onion. You don't attack the onion, you get to like just rest for a stage, but the final stage ends up getting harder with the radish, which the radish is not on here. I would rate it pretty low. It's kind of just like an added secret boss thing. The carrot's pretty good. The carrot is also like a B tier. Actually, I could see, let's move the onion down to a C as well. You can kind of see that. Yeah, I'm pretty happy with that so far. Again, things could change a little later, but we'll see. Oh god, we have to fucking move down this damn flower. I hate this flower. I really do. I think it's a fine boss. I don't think it's the best boss. The first stage is probably the best. It's the most balanced stage. I say that is like a C. It's pretty fine. It's all right. It's not too hard. It's not too difficult. When it gets into its final phase, and it's just, this was the first boss playing this through the series that really got under my skin. So it's like, oh, it's just a flower. It won't be that hard. It took me an hour to beat that. Ribby and Croaks are an interesting one. I don't, honestly, I think they're the weakest boss in this area. I don't think they're a bad boss. The first stage is like fine. It's all right. I would say it's C. I'd honestly be willing to put the entire boss fight in C, to be honest. Maybe B for the last stage. The last stage is very interesting. It's very frustrating though. It's like the first boss to add like an air of randomness to it, so it can be a wee bit annoying. I think it's a solidly plain boss. I think everything going on in the background is actually a little bit more interesting. I like the whole like fly casino thing. I think it's really interesting. I'd say C for the whole boss fight. I think that's perfectly fair. Hildaberg. I remember playing this for the first time. This is the first boss that really like hit a nerve. Like this one was unbearably annoying the first time I played the game. I don't think it's a bad boss though. I actually think it's definitely like one of Isle 1's most iconic bosses, I feel. I feel like Goopy might be the most iconic from Isle 1. The first phase is like, it's pretty good. It's pretty fine. It does throw a lot at you at once, and it is a plain level, which I'm kind of biased on, to be completely honest. I would say Hildeberg's first stage it's pretty solidly a B. I don't like the second phase though. I've always hated the second phase. I would honestly rank it as a D. It's one of my least favorite fights. It's really frustrating. There's like kind of some random elements to it with the star sign summons, although I think they're maybe scripted. I have no idea. The last phase redeems itself a little bit. It can be incredibly frustrating. I could see C or B for it. I'm gonna put it in B, but I could see either one for it. Now we go to the run and gun levels. This one is the second one in Isle 2. I actually don't remember their names, so I do not like the woodland one. It has a little mini boss at the end, which is not on the list, which I do think is cool. I like them. I like it when the running guns have a little mini boss at the end, but this is possibly my second least favorite one. I'm gonna put it in F. I don't like playing it. I really just usually want to get it done when I have to play it. On the other hand, I would honestly rank the first one as one of the best. Also has a little mini boss at the end of it with the acorn machine. Maybe at S. I think S could go in S. It's one of my favorites. My second favorite, honestly. I think it's like one of the most memorable. It kind of sets the tone pretty well for how the other ones are going to be. Mausoleum 1, which is what I think is Mausoleum 1, I think it's fine. I don't really... The mausoleums are okay. They're not the most fun thing to do. I like the parry challenges. They are kind of fun. They're fun. There's nothing in this game that's unfun. Like, this game, it's a very well-made game. I don't want to make it seem like I'm bitching too much about it. I would honestly be willing to put all of the mausoleums in C. We move on to Baroness von Bonbon. I don't know. I don't know how to feel about this boss. I think it's a good fight. This is the first one to really lay into the randomness. Ruby Croaks was the first one to use a random element, not the last one by far. I love the first phase of this boss. Like I've been referring to them as Munchie Minions, but Pac-Man one is probably my favorite. It's definitely the easiest. Maybe second easiest. It's around there. I would say a good B or C. I could go with either of them. It's not the most memorable stage, so I'll put it in C. Candy Corn, it's not the most challenging, by far not the most interesting. It kind of just goes in a single pattern, and you can pretty well ignore it. So D. The Gumball Machine actually has the most personality, I would say, out of any of them. It's very smug. It's not the easiest one, and it's definitely one I reset a lot when I was playing this for the series. I reset a lot during the Gumball Machine. I'd say B. I actually quite like it. Look, the waffle is my favorite. I don't know. I really like the waffle. I'm gonna put him in B. I have no thoughts other than that. The Muffin Man, I'm not huge on him. I could also put him in D. I could take him or leave him. He's not my favorite one to get. He has that like annoying like splatter damage like attack. It's kind of meh. The last phase of this boss is where it really gets interesting because it turns into a like platformer and it has so much going on. It's definitely the most difficult phase of that boss. I would honestly be willing to rate this one kind of high. I would say A, like bottom of A, top of B. Jamie, I don't like this one. I've never liked this one. I think these are kind of out of order. This isn't the coffin before then. I don't remember. First phase is fine. It's pretty easy. It's not too difficult. I would be willing to rate it C. It's one of my least favorite bosses, especially from Mile 2. This one, it's fine. It's fine. It's also like a D. It's kind of forgettable. It has like an interesting challenge to it, but it can be kind of frustrating with the buzzsaws that fly around. The coffin phase. Coffin phase is probably my favorite one. I do think it has a pretty interesting like thing to it, so I'm willing to put it in B. The Meg stage, kind of, it's alright. It's alright. I'm gonna put it in C as well. Like the last phase is very tricky. I would be willing to, it can be really frustrating. It's very precise on where you have to say some of the hitboxes could be, I think, readjusted to be a little bit more lenient. I would put it in D. It's gotta be my least favorite stage of it. Again, this one's just not my thing. Although Beppy, I don't know, I had a lot of fun out of Beppy after recording the series. Usually a boss I kind of forgot about, just in my playing of it normally. I quite enjoyed recording it. First phase is like, it's fine. It's just, I'm on a go-kart. There isn't really much to do or much to say about it. You have the ducks, but that's it. The balloon stage is probably, I wouldn't say one of my favorite parts of it. Actually, no, it's pretty fun. I would put it in B. It's a nice thing, and then it adds the like dogs and it has the whole roller coaster thing. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. It's a little frustrating, sure, but you could say that about almost any of these bosses. My least favorite part of the entire one is like the merry-go-round phase. It's alright. I would also be willing to put the last phase as well in B. It's pretty fun. I like the platforming to it. The adorable little penguins that come and attack you. All around, it's a pretty good boss. I would rank it mostly in B. Wally Warble. Wally Warble is a pretty good. I would honestly be willing to put all of this in B. Yeah. I would say B for the first two stages and like C for the last. I'm not huge on the last one. Grim Matchsticks, the boss I've been calling by the wrong name for the last 5 years. For some reason, no one has ever corrected me on that, so I was shocking to find out over the course of playing this one again. God damn it. Okay, for the aesthetics, if we were just rating this one on like the design and aesthetics and that awesome like rotoscope tower in the background, I would honestly rate this one super high, like S tier. This boss is really fucking annoying though. I'll be fair. I think its first stage is like B tier. If the whole fight was like the clouds and everything, and like the really precise platformers and the things that just straight up chase you, it can be really fucking frustrating, especially in its second phase, which is annoying. I do think this is a good boss overall. I just find it really grating on the nerves. Every time I've ever played this game, this one has always taken the longest. So B for the first stage and C for the rest of them. I think they're pretty fair stages. The Carnival run and gun. This is my favorite run and gun out of all of them. This is absolutely my favorite run and gun. I'm gonna put it in S tier. But the Funhouse one, Funhouse Frazzle, I hate this one. This is my least favorite. I really hate this one. It's just fucking frustrating and annoying. I would be willing to rate it F tier. Mausoleum 2, I mean, like I said, most of the mausoleums can go in 2. This one honestly can go in D. This one honestly can go in D because the power you get from doing the mausoleum, it's not really worth it. Briny Beard. Briny Beard is not my favorite boss. I kind of think he's a little uninteresting. Fight's a little boring, can be a little dull at times. Honestly, his ship is the more interesting thing of this boss. I would put it in D. Put the whole fight in D. The whole Rumor Honeybottoms fight, pretty fun, actually. I actually really enjoyed playing this one. I was a little worried about it because I thought it was kind of frustrating when I played it the first time, but recording it, it's one of those I just had an absolute blast with. First phase, I love this goofy, like, bee cup. Again, really fun, honestly. Second phase, second phase, also pretty good. I don't think it's as good as the first stage. I'm gonna put it in B. I can move up. The final stage, also in A tier, also really fun. Werner Werman, or Werner Vermin, depending on how you want to pronounce it. The first phase is fine, pretty fun. It has a lot of dynamics, so I don't want to put it too highly. Like C or B could go in either of them. The second phase of the fight, I love the theming of this fight. I really do. I love the stage. It's pretty fun. I would put the second phase in like the cat phase. The cat phase of this can be a little annoying. I think it's the most interesting phase of this fight, but I would knock it for having a couple of like attacks that kind of come out of nowhere or really easy not to pay attention to. It has a bit too much going on at times. I would put it in C as well. Calamaria is great. This is I would honestly consider this to be the best flying stage. It's really fun. There's a ton going on. It is pretty challenging, I would say. A lot of really fun animation too. There's a lot of personality in this character. I think that's why this character specifically is very enduring. I would honestly rank this one as A. I might even be willing to go up to actually S tier for the like first half and then the Medusa stage. There's so many eels, it's kind of frustrating. I have to knock it down a peg for that one. Although I do like the last phase a lot. Like Sally's stage play, I believe that's her name. Oh, god damn it. I didn't notice that. First phase, very fun. I would rank it as a B. This whole stage fight is very fun. I love its theming. First phase, I would rank as A, to be honest. I thought this one was really fun. There are some low moments in this one. I wouldn't say this is my favorite boss by any means. Second phase is a little... it's kind of like middle phase thing. Some of the middle phases, or some of the more dull ones, they're kind of the low points into like getting into some of the later phases. The middle phase, probably the most fun. I love its like stage play thing. All of it's really wacky and ridiculous. I'm gonna put it in S. So much fun. The last phase is a bit of a low point for it. It's not frustrating. It's not too difficult. You kind of need to use a homing attack on it, otherwise it just becomes too precise and it becomes really, really irritating. I would put it in C. I put it in C. I don't even remember this one's name, and I don't care. I hate this one. This is actually, I think one further down this from the DLC actually might be my least favorite boss now, but I still hate this one. Like this one, I fucking hate this one. All phases of the robot go in F tier. Actually, I would be willing to rank the last phase as D. Still don't like it that much, but I think it's better than the other stages. I hate the gimmick to the first phase. It's so annoying. The head flying around is irritating. I hate this one. Phantom Express. We're going from one of my least favorite ones to one of my favorite bosses. First phase, actually. This whole boss for me like ranks really highly. I would put the first two phases in S. Then like Piano Teeth, the Piano Teeth Twins are like A, and like the ending is kind of like an A tier. I don't like them as much as the first two stages, but they're still really fun, really good. This is another one that I just had, I recorded for a while and just had a blast every time I had to replay it, so very highly rated in my book. The running guns for this one, I don't hate the mountain one, but I don't really like it. I would say D. It's a little forgettable. Although the little mini boss like chase at the end of it is very fun, I would honestly put that in B. If it was just that the entire time, I honestly think it would be a much better stage. But this fucking pier one, I hate this one so much. This one I know is my least favorite. I know I've said that for each of the ones that I really don't like. This one, honestly, I'm tempted to make another tier for just this one. You know what? Fuck it. You know what? Fuck it. I make the rules here. Don't flip them, you idiot. There, we got the F- tier for this one. I really hate it. Honestly, the robot could probably go in F-, to be honest. That might be a readjustment we make later. But we get to the other mausoleum. It's fine. C tier. Get a decent power up from it. Oh god damn it. Now we go to Inkwell Hell. This one, okay, I think I've said before in like a comment, King Dice annoyed me. The King Dice fight annoyed me the most. It took me, over the course of like the 2 episodes that I was in, it took me 5 hours to beat this. It drove me insane. I could not beat it until I got the hang of like manipulating the dice. That being said, I don't think this one is a bad one. I think it's a really fun boss when you have the option to play it casually. Recording it is a whole pain in the ass, but that's aside the point. The first mini boss, I don't like. I hate the drinks ones. It's really annoying. It's really finicky. There's so much to keep track of. I'm gonna put it in F actually. I don't like the Chip boss. We're just gonna call him Chip. I don't like Chip. Really precise platforming. It's not too bad, and after a while you kind of get the hang of it. But D, I think D is fine. This one is my the cigar boss, or like Gomez Adams cigar. It looks just like him, alright? I don't know. It's uncanny, to be honest. Honestly, this one is my preferred one. I would be willing to rate this one as B. It has an interesting gimmick. It's not too difficult. It's very fun. All of these are like single stages, and I think the single stage bosses are a little weak compared to some of the other ones, but the domino boss, not too bad. Once you get the hang of it, it's not too bad. I would be willing to rate this one in C. The same with the rabbit, honestly. Rabbit is okay. A lot of people find the Skeletor horse boss really annoying, and I get it. I get it. It's not my it's not my favorite one. I would put it in D. As long as you're watching out for the like cloak horse and what's it, like presents that he shoots at you, they're okay. They're fine. The roulette wheel, it okay. I would be willing to rate this one as D. It's like D tier, to be honest. It's not my least favorite one of these, but it's not the most memorable. I think the platforming in it is very fun. The 8-ball is pretty fun. I like it. It's pretty goofy. Goes in C. This is another candidate for the F-. I hate this spot. I hate this mini boss so goddamn much. This one's super annoying. Every time I got to it, I would just restart. I would give up because I could not beat it. I think I've beaten it once. It's the hardest thing in this entire fight. It is a absolute game ender if I get it. The King Dice fight itself, overall I would put the entire like King Dice boss battle in like A. I think it's very fun. Ending is, it's like a B. It's easy to cheese, and if you're very good at parrying and you have the crack shot, it's pretty easy. Overall, I rate it pretty good. It's a pretty good boss. The Devil, it's another one of those that had a lot of trouble with. It's a very fun boss, especially the first phase. It's one of those bosses that gets easier the further you go, which is a theme on some of these. To be honest, I would give the first phase, actually an A. I think the first phase is very fun. It's very interesting, has a lot going on, has a ton of personality. The Devil as a character has so much personality in Cuphead. The later fights, I would put down to B. They're okay. We're going on to the DLC now. I haven't played these as many times, so I don't have as thought out opinions on them as I do for the base game bosses, but Glumstone was one I just did not enjoy. I couldn't get into it. I don't think the boss has that much personality, and some of the phases are really frustrating. Like, the first phase, I would put in D. It's not too hard. It's like the right difficulty level. It's not too frustrating. I would put it in D. It's a perfect D. The puppet phase, I think this is the most personality we see out of this character. I I would also be willing to rate that one in D. Honestly, I do feel like this entire boss is like a D in general, so let's just rate it, the whole thing as a D. I feel like one stage could go up, but we'll get to that later. Moonshine Mob. I love this boss. This boss has so much goddamn personality to it. It's just an S tier. First phase, S tier. Very fun, lots going on. Even though there is so much going on, it's really not that difficult. All you have to do is like track the spider and make sure you're not, if you walk through a bomb, make sure you just move away from it. The jitterbug is fun, a lot of personality in the character. Gotta give it points from that. I don't know if I would rate it to an S tier as well. I think the character is very adorable. I love the fashion and the personality of it. The anteater phase is kind of my least favorite part of the boss, to be honest. It kind of changes. The anteater itself doesn't really have as much personality. I love the mob boss snail though. The mob boss snail goes into S tier again for having a lot of personality. It's the shortest phase of the boss. It's after the fake out, like, knockout screen, which is so much fun. I'm glad they put it in there. But overall, really, really fun boss. Really fun boss. Ooh, us, we go on to, I don't know his name, the Ice King boss, the Snow Wizard boss, however you want to say that. I really had fun with this one. This is one I had, no matter how many times I had to retry this one, I had so much fun with it. A tier. A tier for the first phase. Actually, overall, I would say this is like an A tier. Might actually go up to A tier. It had one of my favorite bits from the entire series. I had so much fun with this one. I would put the last phase in like B. I don't think it's that interesting. I feel like it loses a lot of personality in going to its snowflake form, honestly. Esther Winchester. I fucking hate this boss. This one might actually be my least favorite, even compared to like Mr. Robot. I hate it. First phase especially, so much going on. It's so hard to keep track of. It feels bad to play. I really hated playing this boss. Second phase is just kind of uninteresting. I would say honestly, yeah, F- for this entire fight. I really don't like it. I just don't like this entire fight. Howling Aces, I believe that's the stage name, at least. I don't know these characters' names. Honestly, really fun. Honestly, really fun. I dreaded this one the most out of any of the bosses from here. I thought it was a really solid boss. First phase, I might A or B. I honestly could see him in both. I would put it more in B tier. It's pretty fun. It's pretty dynamic. You have to watch out for a lot. The like plane moving around is really fun. It's like a really fun bit of like platforming to it. It is very limiting onto where you go, but overall pretty fun stage. The second stage is kind of boring. It's a little uninteresting. I would put it in D. There isn't much to say about it. The last stage to it is so strange. It's so strange. It's very frustrating. It can be really frustrating. It's one of the more difficult stages in the DLC. I would rank it up in B2. I do think it's a very fun stage. The whole thing where it inverts your controls based on the like location of the plane is very interesting. A little dickish, quite frankly, but it's very fun. And it has the secret stage on here, which I haven't played, so I can't really rate. I'll just give it the same rating. Going on to Salt Baker. Salt Baker's really fun. Salt Baker's surprisingly fun. I really love the first stage. I would say that's like an A tier. I'm not as big on the second, to be honest. That one kind of goes down to B. It's a little frustrating, and that stupid fucking fireball that just hangs out in his hands. God, I hate it. I hate it. The like Salt Twins phase, also really fun. It's very short. It doesn't really outstay its welcome. It's quite fun. I would rank it as a A as well. Honestly, this fight is pretty consistent. I would call it. I would be willing to call the whole thing as an A. I do think kind of go a little lower on the last phase, quite frankly. The secret boss for this one, I thought it was okay. I didn't really have that much say on it. The gimmick, it's interesting. It's one of those bosses I think it doesn't outstay its welcome. I think it's short enough. I honestly thought it could deal with another stage or maybe two. Usually the single face bosses are kind of weaker standing out, but I didn't hate it, didn't really care that much for it. I would put it completely middle of the road in C. The King's Trials, I actually really, or King's Leap, the King's Trials, whatever you want to call it. I had a lot of fun with these. I honestly love most of them. There's a few that I'm not as big on, but the pawns, just like a fun, simple like parry challenge. Like low B or high C, I could see either of them. The knight doesn't have a lot going on. It's pretty fun. I love the character's design. It's very goofy looking. I'd be willing to put it in C. The bishop, I honestly thought this one was just kind of boring. It's not too challenging. It's an interesting challenge, but I put in D. The rook is my favorite one. I thought the whole like parry challenge was very fun. So I'd be willing to give it a good A. I thought the character design was very cute. The queen is also very fun. It's very dynamic. I think it's one of the easier stages. Not the easiest, but one of the easier stages. Very fun. Like that one a lot. A tier as well. Alright, I definitely think there could be a couple of adjustments to this. I'm just gonna pull Goopy up into A tier as well. And I feel like I can honestly move the rest of the root pack here as well. Because it is like the first two bosses in the game are really just tutorials for how the other bosses are going to function. I'm going to move the whole robot fight down to F-, because I still hate it, and then just move the last phase of it to F. I think I'm pretty happy with it now. I think those are the only adjustments I really need. By the way, let me know what you would personally change on this one. After all, I'm just an idiot on the internet, so you don't have to take my opinion that seriously. But either way, I'm going to leave this video here. Here's a couple of videos that YouTube thinks you'll like. If you like this one, go check out my channel. Maybe you'll find something else you'll like. But either way, I really appreciate you watching, and I hope to see you in the next one. Bye!